I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Hello, American Patriots. Welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. I am coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. We are on the final leg of our of several different things we're doing on our trip here. We've been on the road now for over a week. We went up to Virginia, to Richmond, to cover the Second Amendment rally that was held up there. Many of you saw our live broadcasts that we did, as well as the videos we put out on this subject. You all know by now that the rally went off very well. There were no problems. Everything that the left threw out there and the Democrats said were going to happen did not happen. So that's in our favor for sure. It was a wonderful event. Ran into a lot of... Also, what was very humbling was the amount of people that I ran into that would come up to me and just say hello, want to shake my hand. The audience, we're getting the word out there, and if you just keep telling people about us, we will continue to grow this movement that we're doing, this grassroots movement, to bring you real journalism, the truth, and hopefully in the near future you guys will be able to just bypass the typical media that you see on cable news network every night and every day. I want to cover a few things with you that about this trip that was been pretty special for me. One of the things, while we were up in Virginia, we stayed at Fort Eustis, which is a training military base for Army personnel for all the different transportation type MOSs. For instance, I went through Fort Eustis in 1986 after I graduated from basic training because that's where they taught the Chinook helicopter course for those in the MOS of 67 uniform. And I went back in 1992 for the basic non-commissioned officer course, the academy, to become a staff sergeant. So it was kind of a reminiscing to go back and see this place after all these years. I want to thank all of those that were very open up their doors for us to bring my wife and I out on the flight line so she could see what a Chinook helicopter is all about up close and personal. And also we were able to go through the training academy there where they train the students, the same hangar that I learned to train in on the Chinook helicopter back in 1986. So that was a very special day for us to be able to go back and for me to revisit that and to share that with my wife. The other thing I want to briefly mention, throughout our time at Fort Eustis, I was able to have conversations with numerous different active duty military personnel that are there. Some of them that are part of the training brigade that are actually teaching these young men and women right out of AIT about different helicopters that they have there. There's the Black Hawk helicopter courses there and some other different aircraft, as well as other transportation things like the Navy boats, for instance. I mean, the Army boats. The Army has a lot of boats that people don't even realize. So in talking with a lot of these folks, I learned that the Army has become politically correct, more so than I ever realized. Now, I knew that this was happening, but I didn't realize just how in-depth it had become. It was very disheartening to hear about timeout cards where if a young soldier feels like they're under too much pressure, they can go in a timeout. Not cry rooms per se, but areas where they could go to instead of a smoke break, an area to go to just chill out and relax and get your act back together because of the drill sergeants or cadre that's, maybe raising their voice at you too much. I learned if they can't say anything that, the same political correctness stuff that CNN pushes and MSNBC, you can't say anything negative about the LGBTQ community. You can't make jokes. There's an easy process for students to file complaints against the cadre there and just ruin careers all over political correctness. The whole purpose for military basic training and for the AIT is to get you to a place with your mind and body to where if the day comes that you end up in combat, you're able to survive. So they put you through a lot of stress. They put you in situations that the average person doesn't experience. And now they're stripping that away to where, other than the special operation community, for instance, like the Navy SEALs or maybe Army infantry, airborne type units, special forces, Green Berets, Rangers, those type folks, this hasn't affected, or at least not to the degree that it has the typical Army soldier that does other jobs, transportation or cooks, you name it, anything other than special ops type stuff. So to hear this for someone who is very proud to have served my country in the military and deployed overseas numerous times was sad. I don't know how our Army got to this point. I don't know how bad it is in the other branches, but to find out about it in the U.S. Army, and at least at this one installation, and there's many across America and the world for that matter, it was disheartening. And, I don't know what we can do about it. I don't know what the future holds for that. I would hope that the Army Chief of Staff has at least let the president know what they're doing and how easy it is for a member of the training brigade or cadre to have their career just ruined over something that, just 20 years ago was nothing at all. I mean, it just wasn't even a subject that would come up. So I wanted to share that with you. I also had the opportunity while I was there to meet a soldier that I can't tell you his name. We're going to bring him on and do a special show just with him, kind of disguised, because if the Army was to find out that he was doing this with us, he would maybe be in trouble. He's from Puerto Rico, and his family's in Puerto Rico. And all the negative things that the Democrats have been saying Trump did or didn't do with Puerto Ricans, the island, the relief, the aid after the hurricane, is an absolute bald-faced lie. And he shared with us some in-depth detail about all the great things that were happening and how President Trump did more for the island of Puerto Rico after these disasters than probably any other disaster relief. Yet the mainstream media spins it against the president. So we're working out a situation where we can get him on. He's willing to do it. But we have to keep him, like I say, to where he won't get in trouble for sharing the truth about what's really going on. So we got that. While I was up here, also here in Nashville, I had the opportunity. I want to give them a shout out. There is several different recording studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, that are wonderful. A lot of the country music artists and other artists of different type musics come through. But some friends of mine, Darla and Timmy, they are band members with Mark Chestnut, who is a country musical legend. Darla plays drums and Timmy plays bass guitar. They started their own studio up here called Mystic Studio. And I'm going to be putting out a lot of information about them in the future on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Look, these folks, we went to dinner with them. We went to the studio and toured it. And this is what I want to share with you is I'm passionate about music. And I do a lot of different things with veterans when it comes to music, especially those with PTSD, where we take them to concerts and they get to see the show and then go backstage and meet the performers. And Darla and Timmy are very passionate about helping other people. They believe that is part of God's wish for them. And they want to see people's dreams in the music industry basically come true. You know, whether it's just coming in and cutting a CD for just yourself or, you know, and you're not some person that's going to continue on in the industry, or that you are, and maybe you already have records out or you know, you're up and coming. Either way, they're doing things to help everyday people that aren't normally in this type industry to see their dreams come true through music. And to me, that was very empowering to hear. And I'm very blessed to have a friendship with these two and wonderful people. So if you have the time, please go over, check them out. They're on Facebook. They're also have a website. It's Mystic Studio, MISSTYX. And if you're in Nashville area and you'd like to do something with music or cut a little track, these are the folks that you want to go see. And they'll be more than happy to set you on that path. After we came back, I'm going to jump around here for a little bit. After we came back from the rally in Virginia, I'm sure you've all noticed now that the Democrats just went forward and slammed through a bunch of different bills, the ones that we hoped they wouldn't. The red flag laws, for instance, they put through 14 bills, went through the subcommittee. Some of them were blocked by Republicans. Doesn't matter. They don't have the House and Senate anymore. On Wednesday, the Dems passed a red flag law in the Senate, which is now in the House. And with them having the House, you can rest assured they're going to pass that as well. So what did the rally do? Besides the fact that it brought together probably, they don't know the exact number, but what I'm hearing close to the amount, probably with all the different people that have estimated it, is over 30,000 of us showed up with our weapons. What it did was it at least showed the rest of the United States that there is a lot of people, and this was just one rally in one area of the country, that are willing to stand up for our Constitution and speak out against those that want to destroy it. And in this case, it was the Second Amendment. So that is something that as we move on in life in 2020, especially as we get closer to the election, you're going to see more and more Democrat states try and do the same thing they just did in Virginia, sadly. And we're going to need to have the same show of force at each one of these. And I'm going to leave it at that for now. There's more to follow on that, and there's more people I'm working with about what we can do in the future on that. When we get back to Louisiana, we will start working or finishing up the border trip. We are just have a few more things to do, a few more T's to cross, I's to dot before we head off and continue this border tour, bringing you the facts of what's happening there. We have a lot of different people that we have planned to work with and integrate with, where we will be able to show you more of the action type things that are happening there on the border with the people that are involved with helping secure it. So I feel that's very, very important. Tomorrow, my wife and I, will be our last day here in Nashville. We will be guest speakers for Lead and Empower Her. If you go to leadandempowerher.com, you will learn about this, and you will also be able to, if you're locally, buy tickets to come to the show, or you could actually pay a small fee to watch it stream live. We'll be there at 8 o'clock. I believe I'm speaking at around 11, and my wife's speaking at 11:30. I'm not exactly sure of the times, but it's an empowerment thing for women. Most of the women there will be veterans, but there will be others that aren't vets, that we're hoping to, through our stories, share with them things to help empower them to move on past the military, fit into our society just like the guys have issues fitting into society after coming back from combat tours. We each have separate things that affect us. Women vets have separate things that affect them different from men vets. But overall, we all fall under the same umbrella, those of us that were exposed to horrible situations that are faced with PTSD have that hanging over our heads. So we're going to do that tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of these women and sharing my story, as well as my wife, her being a professional licensed counselor and having her own private practice in Louisiana and having a specialty in PTSD. She fits in perfect to what they're trying to do here. So, and we're not going to do the full hour tonight because I've got this to get ready for tomorrow. But I do have a guest that I'm going to bring on for you. His name is David Fodder. I hope I'm saying that right. He came on during several of our live shows. He's a donator to the show. He's been doing some great work on how we can file complaints against Attorney Governor like Ralph Northam, where we can actually do something. We can make, besides just showing up and holding a rally, what can we do? What kind of solution can we come up with where we can make change and affect what these Democrats are doing, counter-react that, basically. He's got some ideas, and we've looked over some of this, and it sounds very interesting, and he's going to share that with us. And in doing so, I hope that each of you will go to the different sites he's going to talk about and be a part of this. I'm going to let him explain it all. So I think we're going to take a quick break. Do we have time to take a quick break before we? Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to bring on our guest, and we're going to discuss what you can do to help conservatives and Republicans fight against these liberal Democrats. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code DOUG for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
And we are back with David Fodder. David, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, that's close enough. Fedora is actually how I pronounce it, but that's close.
Gotcha.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show with us. You've got some interesting solutions of things that our subscribers can do, those that watch the show, to actually, I don't know if we'd call it start a movement, but I'd like to look at it that way. At least an action that we can do from our homes that will help with this fight we have against these far left-wing Democrats. So I'm going to let you take it away and talk about this for us.
Okay. I have a couple of questions to ask the folks in the chat room here before I get started. First of all, how many folks are from the great state of Virginia? Give me a 1 in the chat box. Yeah, I don't see any. Well, okay.
It'll probably take them a little while, but...
All right, so anyway, I'm tired of seeing the Democrats jam all these rules down everybody's throat, trying to take away all our rights away and not being able to fight back. This concept of sitting there waiting for the attorneys to get this up to the Supreme Court level to be decided, I don't think is a good enough solution. What we need to do is we need to take away and we need to put in place a series of punishments for these guys that try to take away our rights. Just losing in the courts, I don't think, is enough. It's not going to solve the problem. So I did some research on civil rights, and I came up with that. It's called Title 18 USC Section 242. Dustin, could you put that back up full screen for me, please?
Title 18 USC Section 242.
Yeah, it's the first link I sent you. There you go. What this is basically, it says, whoever, under the color of any law, state, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution of the United States shall, and note the term shall, be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than a year, or both. If bodily injury from acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosives, or fire, shall be fined under this title and imprisoned for not more than 10 years. The importance of that to me is under these red flag laws, if you get a 5-team law enforcement agency come to disarm you and it's not constitutional, those guys may have a penalty to fight on their hands.
Interesting.
One of the confusing things about this is everybody thinks, well, not everyone, but most people think that this set of laws is only for minorities and civil rights, like free speech and things like that. But it's not, because, let me switch modes here. Just a second to bring up my, doggone it, I hit the same thing. If you look at the second paragraph, I'm waiting for it to come up, it says, it is not necessary that the crime be motivated by animus towards race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin of the victim. This act applies to everyone. If your constitutional rights are violated under the color of law, you are covered. Now, one thing I really want to talk about here, you mentioned the red flag laws.
Yes.
Under this act, that's a violation of the First Amendment, free speech. It's a violation of the Second Amendment. You know, you can't infringe arms. It's also a violation of the Fourth Amendment. You know, you got to have, it's an unreasonable search and seizure. And the Fifth Amendment, which is you cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. So if you fall under one of these red flag acts, you can claim that your civil rights have been violated and file a complaint against the officers, against the state, you know, your governor. With Governor Northam ramrodding all these new regulations down, I highly recommend that you file a complaint under this title. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But the other problem you had in Virginia was your Supreme Court justices ruled that it held the ban up on banning firearms in the court area. That's a deprivation of civil rights. This regulation also covers judges. So you can file complaints against the justices that handed down that decision. Now, it's not too hard to file a complaint. If you would, Justin, put up that full thing again so I can show them where to file a complaint. The first thing you can do, and the links are at the bottom of the page here, and they're actually in the order in which I'm going to discuss them. So this is the first link. And for some reason, I'm buffering. Is everybody else buffering too, or is that just me?
It could be all of us. I think they're out to get us.
Okay. All right. If you'll notice in that full screen, it says how to file a complaint. It's on the left-hand side where the red rectangle is. You hit that, and hit that for me, Dustin, and it'll take us to the next page.
Click on that link. And it's going to take us to the next page.
Yeah, it should take us to the next page. And at the top, just a little bit under the heading, it'll say criminal. Everybody has to remember that those Democrats are paid to figure out ways to take away our rights, and they do that 24/7, it seems like. I think it's time for a little payback.
So we want to click on the criminal section of how to file a complaint. Is that correct?
On the left-hand side, yeah, there you go. Now, if you look, see in there a different color, how to file a complaint, the first thing is, there you go. Ow, I'm being attacked by my cat.
Not good.
Okay. Click how to file a complaint. Now, you see where it says how to file a complaint there in bold, and you go straight down and it says criminal section. It's right above disability rights section. It's a different color than the other text.
What's he trying to do? Or you can just relay it to me, because
Get there, center column, about an inch from the top of the page.
Okay, first click on the criminal section.
down here.
Yeah. I'm going to have to relay this to my producer because we're having a communication issue at the moment with our headphones here.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on the contact your local FBI field office to report incident. So
There you go.
Is that the page we want? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, now there you go. Now, what you want to do is click on that link to find your local FBI office.
All right. So you click on the link to find your local FBI office.
That's correct.
Right here.
Yes. Okay.
All right. I'm waiting
That's
for
gonna-
it to show up here so I can see what I'm doing.
Bring up a map of our local FBI offices. They're all about protecting your communities.
That's right. That's right. go ahead and click through till you get to your address of your local office there, whatever state you're in, and
Okay, in this
whatever.
case, we will click on, I don't know, click on Nashville.
Right.
Just click any.
Or, yeah, any of them's fine.
Okay, just tell them to hold on one. If you could just hold on 1 second, I'm going to bring in actually the full screen so they can see it easier.
Okay,
Give me
we're going to bring up the full screen here.
so they can find it. It's the desktop. There we go. Let's see. Display two. Is that it? Display two. Let's see if that we want to display one. Just keep talking and all.
Okay, so anyhow, we're trying to bring that up.
Okay.
Here we go. You got it.
You got it? Okay. Okay, so there's the contact us page for the different field offices.
Right. So you select the one that's closest to you.
Okay, in this case, we selected Little Rock only because that's what we clicked on.
Okay.
That brings up filter by categories.
Yeah. And you want to go to criminal.
Okay, scroll down to criminal under categories.
Yeah, criminal under the categories.
These are state.
Yeah, I was first pick the state,
Okay.
any state.
Let's do. Sure. Let's do.
Tennessee. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's different than the one I found. So I guess you would select, you're selecting the state.
Click filter.
All right. Now you take that information, like let's just say that you chose Knoxville. You're in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
We have a
Knoxville.
form that
Pick a year.
you guys put together for me, and oops, I don't see it in the links. You have several forms that we made this evening, and there's a complaint form, and you fill out the complaint form.
Can you bring up the complaint form?
Oh, you're talking about the one that Chrissy.
Yes.
Yes. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay, hold on 1 second. He's going to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk for a second while I get this.
Okay, so while he's pulling that up, let's back up just a little bit. So we're going to go to the FBI field office. Then we're going to
Right.
from the FBI's website. Then we're going to pick our state. Then pick your local.
And then we'll use that form and fill it out with the proper FBI address. And then what you have to do is on that form, you have to plug in, like, if your state has just come up with a red flag law, you need to put that law number in there and show that that's, violated your civil rights.
Okay, so we just
Show
brought it up
pic-
on the screen. Is this the correct one?
Hmm?
I said we just
Well,
brought
I'm
it up on the
buffering.
screen.
I can't see what you have on the screen. There you go. I just got you back.
Okay, it's a complaint form for Title 18, USC Section 242.
Correct, yes.
All right. Now, can they do that online, or do they have to print this form out?
Well, for the most part, they have to print the form out and make the changes in there. But you put in there your date, the address of your local FBI office,
Okay.
and who you're filing it against. If you did, what this was intended to do is, if you needed to, you could print this out, change this, print it out, and send it via U.S. mail, or you can just copy some of the things and do it online for some of what we're going to do here. Now remember, this is a 4-step process. This is just the first step, getting this form filled out and filing the complaint. Okay?
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, what we're going to do here is we're going to either have these politicians fined or they can be imprisoned. This will be a criminal prosecution. Now, I know a lot of people out there are thinking, okay, yeah, right, FBI, you're not going to get anything done there. I trust them about as far as I can throw them. Well, you gotta remember what's going on here. We have President Trump in an election year. Now, we helped him get the presidency in 2016.
Correct.
We also have the FBI that's got a bloody nose from all the corruption that was founded, since Trump was elected.
Correct.
So the next, after filing this complaint, is we're going to send President Trump a message. And if you can bring that form up,
Bring up the
I'll
form.
show you what's on there as well.
What's that form called?
It's the president's
The
form.
president's form?
Yeah.
That one right there? Okay. It's coming up now. Dear Mr. President, I'm notifying you that I filed a complaint under 18 U.S. Code, Section 242 against, and whoever the person may be, for a violation of my civil rights.
That's right. And I'm seeking your immediate attention in requiring the Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation to conduct a complete and impartial investigation into the matter. As a courtesy, I've enclosed a copy of this complaint for your records. I have supported you in the 2016 election, and your action or inaction in this matter will determine my support of you in the upcoming 2020 election. As my president, I expect that no matter the political climate, you would be concerned that my constitutional civil rights are being violated. We are in a war, Mr. President, a war to ensure that our Constitution remains intact for generations to come. We want to put the pressure on President Trump to make sure that he pushes for us. Now, we have to do this en masse. The whole goal here is to get everybody to file these complaints. You don't have to be a gun owner, for one. And there's no age limit on the constitutional rights. When you're born in this country, you have all the constitutional rights granted anyone else. So I'm challenging each person that files one of these also has their spouse file them. If they have teenage children, have the teenage children file them, because they have a vested interest in this. That's their right that's going to be lost.
Correct.
And it shows good stewardship, showing the kids that they have to take responsibility for the world that they live in.
Right.
To kind of shape their own destiny. And at least get 5. Talk to your friends. And they don't have to be just gun owners. They can be anybody that you're a friend with saying, hey, look, this is not just about gun rights, because the Bill of Rights encompasses more than that.
Exactly.
This is what we have to do.
So
anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. The next thing you want to do is get your delegates, if you're in Virginia or other Commonwealth, your representatives and your state senators, as well as your U.S. representatives and senators, if they're Republicans, on board with this as well. And we have a form for that, too, and that's the representatives form.
And bring up the representatives form.
Yeah.
That'll be the legislator's letter.
The legislator's form.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is we're notifying you that we've filed a complaint under U.S. Code Section 242 against blank. When you say blank, it's normally going to be the governor of the state that signed the legislation into law.
Okay.
Or in the case of a judicial order, it's going to be the judges, like in the Virginia Supreme Court. Those are the ones that you would put on here.
Gotcha.
What we want them to do is we want them to support us by filing a complaint as well. And we're telling them that as your representative or senator, you expect this matter no matter the political climate, you would be concerned that the constitutional civil rights are being violated. And I supported you in the last election, but your action or inaction in this matter will determine my future support. So we're putting them on notice too that, hey, look, you know what? This is a serious thing. We want you to help us. If you support us, we'll support you. If you don't support us, then we may look at other alternatives.
Bingo.
And then lastly, the fourth step in this whole thing is gun clubs. If you're a member of the NRA, if you have local associations, if you have gun ranges, let everybody know about this. The only way we're going to win this is if we do it in numbers, many, many numbers.
Exactly, and it's all right there for us on the FBI website.
I'm sorry?
And it's all right there for us on the Department of Justice website.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But like I said, you know, there's a lot of people that say, well, if it's the FBI, it's under Hillary's control. Look at Comey and everything else. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true. There have been problems there. But by putting pressure on Trump in this election year, I think we can push him far enough that he'll get something done if we have the numbers to do it.
Right. So I think what I will do, which will make it easier for people, is we're going to put together the actual steps where you need to go to the website, what you need to click on, and basically A, B, C, D, D, bring it on down. And we're going to put that in the community section of the YouTube channel. We'll put it on our Facebook group, the Douglas Ducote Show, and we're going to put it on the American Patriot by the Grace of God Facebook page. The individual steps. I'm sorry it took so long to get through this, but we're having a lot of issues with communication going on right now. The weather's horrible up here, so I apologize for that. But
no apology necessary. I'm glad to be able to come on your show and get the word out about this. Yeah,
that'll be the best way of doing it. Is that way everybody can just go straight to that. They can look at it. They can see it, read about it, and print the forms out and go for it. And you're right. We have to do it in mass. 50, 60, even a couple thousand people doing it, it's not going to make a difference. But if we get 50,000 people doing it, then this law that's on the books under the complaint with the Department of Justice, they have to look at. And hopefully we can get something done with it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I did that. We're going.
I'm just, and then also, just so you guys know, what we'll do is we will cut this clip of the show, and then just to make it easy for you guys to share with people, I'll produce like literally a 3-minute video with the steps that goes along with the instructions and all the links that David has also to Gun Owners America, NRA, the registry for your U.S. Senator. He's got the Virginia tracking bills. He gave us all the links that we'll put all that together and make one page on the website as well. And Doug will share it on all the social media. And this way you guys can spread the video with the links, with the letters. And some people asked if they can add to the letters. Yeah, take the letters and transform them into your own letters. I mean, you're not our mouthpiece. So this was just something from someone in the audience who had an idea and called into the show, and we're about solutions and taking action and activism and not just sitting around doing nothing. So it's a great idea. It's there. Will it be enforced? Who knows? But we won't know until we actually try. So we will do our part and put it all together in an organized fashion. And by the end of tomorrow, we will have that out to everybody. And share it, tweet it, Facebook it, email it to everyone. And who knows? Maybe you start a movement.
Bingo. David, thank you so much, brother, for doing this. I appreciate it.
Oh, hey, no problem, brother. I'm the same as you, so I hope we can get some good to come out of this.
Excellent. We sure do. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back after this. Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, Here's your product, firearmguard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues. Hello, American Patriots.
Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
And we are back. All right, so I'd like to thank our guest again, David Fodder, for coming on and sharing with us how we can actually file a complaint through the Department of Justice against these liberal Democrats that are affecting our rights under the Bill of Rights and our Constitution. Just one more tool, folks, that we can use along with showing up at rallies that actually in paper form, if we do it in mass amounts, will get people to, that have to address this as far as the FBI is concerned. As he was mentioning, nobody has confidence anymore in the FBI, or for that matter, the Department of Justice, because all these people that committed federal crimes that we watched do it in front of us are not being held accountable. But we can't just sit back and do nothing. So this is just one more thing that we can do to continue to be a thorn in their side to try and get them to do the right thing, which is, hey, you work for us. It's not the other way around. And damn it, we want this country to thrive and be great under the rule of law. Lady Justice wears a blindfold for a reason. And right now, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing it at the federal level. We're not seeing it at the state level. Hell, the only level we're seeing that at is at your local city level. And sometimes you don't even see it then, okay? We see everyday people that walk the streets of America getting arrested for drug charges or, robbery or breaking and entering or whatever the case may be. But then you see these people that have massive amounts of money, and because of their political stance or because of their job title when they work for the government, nothing gets done to them. And that needs to come to an end. We really thought that would happen under President Trump, and it may very well happen under President Trump. We don't know what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow, we might wake up and get a Fox News alert or whatever on your phone, and lo and behold, Hillary Clinton has been hauled into jail, or James Comey, or Peter Strzok, or Loretta Lynch. All these people that we know committed crimes against our government, we don't know what tomorrow brings. It's wishful thinking, I guess, but what are we going to do? Sit back and do nothing? Well, I'm not. All right. I'm going to continue to push forward and do everything I possibly can. So I'm not going to really get into the impeachment thing. We will work on that. Next week, we have more information to talk about that. I've tuned in and out of it throughout this trip. I have seen, as I'm sure you have if you watch this, Jerry Nadler and Shifty Schiff and all the rest of the Democrats make complete and utter fools of themselves. It is a disgrace what they have done and what they are saying. And it's all unfolding right in front of America to tune in your TV and watch it. How a group of human beings could be so ignorant and have such bias and say such ridiculous and hurtful and outright statements that have no merit behind them about President Trump is beyond me. They do it with no shame, and they do it because they know that their followers are Democrats and liberals and, sadly, even a few Republicans that lean liberal. that believe the crap that's coming out of their mouths. But anyone, hell, just a high school education, you can put two and two together, you can look these facts up yourself, and you can see that this is all a dog and pony circus show on steroids. It's absolute travesty what they've done with this impeachment trial BS. So, with that, folks, I thank you so much for tuning into the show tonight. Next week, we'll be back at our normal schedule on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. And we will get more into what's going on with our upcoming border trip. And we will have more information about what's happening with the impeachment. And we will also be bringing on, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, the soldier that we met at Fort Eustis that's going to share with us all the things that the Democrats refuse to do about what happened to Puerto Rico when the hurricane came through and did all this massive destruction. So with that, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, first responders, their families, our Blue and Gold Star families, our president, and our country, and for everyone that opened up their arms and welcomed our team across the country as we go on these different tours. Thank you very, very much for all of you that are supporting the Douglas Ducote Show and our videos and our projects. You guys are what makes this all happen. And I cannot say thank you enough for what you do for us. And we will continue to do for you what you need, what America needs, and that is the truth. People to actually come to you and bring you factual information. That's what we're all about. God bless you, folks, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, and blessed night. For now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I'll see you soon. Support our movement. Join our cause. Stop by the Douglas Ducote Patriot Shop to get your official Team Ducote apparel and gear.
Protect your guns and ammo from moisture, mildew, and rust. Use promo code OBC for free shipping on your next purchase. Made in America, by Americans, lifetime warranted. FirearmGuard.com.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.